Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the child's spring beanie hat. Now this pattern has 3 sizes included. There's a baby size that measures about 13 to 14 inches around. This one is the toddler size. It measures about 15 to 16 inches around. And this is the child size, which measures about 17 to 18 inches around. Now there's some wiggle room in there because these hats are very stretchy and they're made to be that way. You'll notice I just have the 2 hats here. I'm going to show you how to crochet this hat in the smallest size, the baby size, but don't worry, I'll also give you instructions on how to make the toddler and the child size as well. So basically we have 3 sizes to talk about today. It's a really easy pattern. It's an open work pattern, so it's not a heavy hat, and it's a perfect hat for your kiddos for spring, whether they're boys or girls. And you can make them in whatever colors that your kiddos like. And these are just made with leftover yarns that I have in my yarn stash. And we'll talk more about yarn in just a second. Now, you can find the free crochet pattern on my blog. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. Oh, and if your child wears a larger than 17 to 18 inches around hat and you want to make it, you can do that using the pattern called the 3-season beanie hat. And that hat will fit a youth to adult size head. And you can also find that link in the notes underneath this video as well. Now for yarn, I'm using all acrylic medium weight number 4 yarns. You can also use a medium weight cotton for this hat. It will work just fine. And that way, if you make it out of cotton, it's a little bit cooler. But acrylics or other yarns, as long as they're medium weight number 4, will work just fine. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be using this pretty purple that I have left over from a previous project. And then I'm going to do these colors down here where we change colors in mint green and this bright pink. I think it'd be really pretty for that hat. As far as the amount of yarn that you need, you're going to need anywhere from 2.5 to 3 ounces depending on the size of the hat that you're going to make for your main color. And then you'll need less than an ounce of your other colors, just small amount. And the truth is you can make this hat all in one color if you want to. You don't have to change colors. I just think it's kind of fun to add a splash of color at the bottom of the hat. But again, you don't have to. Just get in your yarn stash and have some fun. We're going to be using our H hook today, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in ends, and then you'll need a pair of scissors. All 3 sizes, the baby, the toddler, and the child's hat, rows 1 through 3 are all worked exactly the same. So we're going to begin with our slip knot. We're going to chain 5. We're going to put the tail of our yarn over our hook and pull it through that loop. We're going to snug that down and then tie that stay knot. Now, if you prefer to use the magic circle or another method to make your ring here, you certainly can. We're going to go in our ring, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And now we're going to stitch 11 double crochets in this chain 5 loop. And that will give us a total of 12 double crochets because again, we're counting that chain 3 as our first double crochet. So I'm stitching 11 double crochets and then our chain 3 counts as our first. All right, let me see how many I've stitched so far. Here's our chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. String out of the way there. 11 and 12. And you'll notice as I stitched those double crochets, I stitched it over this tail of yarn. That's because I can pull that and close that hole up in the center of my hat. So I've stitched those 12 double crochets, counting my chain 3. I'm going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. But before I go any farther, I'm going to turn this over, grab my needle, go ahead and give that a gentle tug, and then thread that yarn onto my needle. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and weave this in. This will close that hole up nice and tight, and it'll eliminate having to weave it in later. And of course, you can do this at the end of the project if you want to. Alrighty. So we'll clip that off, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. And so for row or round 1, we have 12 double crochets joined to our chain 3 and chain 3. All right, let's do round 2. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. Two double crochets in each of those 12 double crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I stitched 2 double crochets in each of my 12, so I have 24 double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And this is how it should look at round or row number 2. Now what we're going to do for row 3 is we're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and again our chain 3 counts as a double crochet on each row. Now we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. And then in the next double crochet, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And so our repeat for round number 3 is 1 double crochet in the next and 2 double crochet in the next double crochet. I call that doing 1 and 2. It's not a technical term, it's just something to help me remember what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next double crochet and 2 double crochets in the next, and we'll repeat that 1 and 2 all the way around. Whoops, there we go. We'll repeat that all the way around for row 3 or round 3, whichever you want to call it. 1 double crochet in the next, 2 in the next, all the way around, and then again join back to our chain 3. I have completed round or row 3. I joined my chain 3 and chained 3, and you should have 36 double crochets. Now this is where the pattern changes. If you're going to just make the baby size, you'd skip down to row number 6. All right, but before we do that, I want to show you what to do if you're going to make the toddler and child size. There's a difference in the rows because you need the hat a little bit bigger. All right, so This one is the baby size, and we'll come back to that after I show you what to do for the toddler and child size. And so if you're going to do the toddler size, we need to do another row before we go to row 6. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet in the same stitch as the chain 3, and then you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 2. 1 and 2. And so if you're making the toddler size, you'll do row 4 as 2 double crochets in the next, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. You'll be doing 2 and 2. 2 double crochets in the next, 1 and 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. And so this will increase your amount of stitches and make your hat just a little bit bigger than the baby size, so it'll fit a toddler size head. All right, so if you're making the baby size, skip ahead in the video to row number 6. If you're making this size, which is a toddler, you'll need to add this additional row of 2 double crochets in the next and 1 double crochet in the next 2. And repeat that all the way around and join back to the chain 3. So I completed row 4, and if you're making the toddler size, then you'll want to skip ahead in the video to row number 6. But if you're making the child size, we have one more row to do before we skip to row 6, because we need to make the hat just a little bit bigger to fit a child's size. All right, so we did our 2 and 2, we joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. Now for row 5, we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then stitch 2 double crochets in the next. And that's our repeat for row or round number 5. 1 double crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And again, this is going to make it one more row bigger so it fits the child size head. And so if you're making that child size, you'll be stitching 2 double crochets in the next and 1 double crochet in the next 3, 2 in the next, and 1 double crochet in the next 3, and repeat all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I completed row 5, and you can see how each row it increased to make the hat a bigger size. So just to repeat, for the baby size, you should have 3 rows. For the toddler size, you'll have 4 rows. And for the child size, you're going to have 5 rows. And this brings us to row number 6. For all 4 sizes, row 6 is just 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. No more increases. And since I'm doing the baby size, my row number 6 is only on my 4th row because I skipped ahead to row 6. And so whether you're doing the baby, the toddler, or the child size, row number 6 is just 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets around. And of course, you're going to have a different amount of stitch for each size. So 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets all the way around, and then join back to our chain 3. So this is our baby size that only has 4 rows, that we skipped ahead to row 6 and stitched 1 double crochet in each of our stitches around. This is the toddler size. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows because we skipped 1 row ahead and did row 6 here. And then here, of course, is our child size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. No skipping. We went straight through, and here is our 6th row. All right, and that's how it will look after row 6. For the baby size, you'll have 4 rows. For the toddler size, you'll have 5. And for the child size, you'll have 6 rows. Now, row 7 is work the same for all sizes. You're just going to have more stitches for your larger sizes. So after we joined to our chain 3, we chained 4. And this chain 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next stitch and chain 1. Skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, and chain 1. We'll continue to repeat chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, all the way around our hat for all 3 sizes. And again, your bigger sizes will have more stitches. And this is our open row that gives it the spring hat. So I have completed this row, which is our open work row. Here's my last double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and we're going to join to the 3rd chain of that beginning chain 4. And then go ahead and chain 3. And this is how the hat should look for all sizes, only of course the bigger sizes will have more stitches. All right, now the next row, our chain 3 counts is our first double crochet. 1, 2, looks like I pulled the loop out there. And now we're going to double crochet in that chain 1 space. We'll double crochet in the next double crochet. We'll double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the double crochet, and just repeat this all the way around for a nice solid row of double crochet stitches. So your stitch count isn't going to change anymore. You're still going to have the same number of double crochets. So depending on the size you're making will depend on the amount of double crochets that you'll have. But you're going to double crochet in each double crochet and each of the chain 1 spaces all the way around for this row. I completed row 8, solid row of double crochet, and just like on these, solid row of double crochet. And now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat row 7 and 8 again. We're going to stitch another row of the open work and another row of the solid double crochet. So we're going to repeat row 7 and row 8 one more time. I completed those 2 additional rows in open work, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and then a solid row of double crochet. On the toddler size, you can see that we changed colors on our next row. And on the child size, we're going to change colors on our next row. And so I'm going to bring in my bright pink. I'm finished with the purple, this dark orchid purple color. And I'm going to bring in this bright pink for my color 2. All right, so we'll bring that in, and again, we don't chain 3 until after we've changed colors, because our chain 3 counts as our first stitch, And we don't want that to be purple. We want it to be pink. And we're going to chain 4 because we're going to repeat what we did here. And so our chain 3 again counts, or our chain 4 counts as double crochet, chain 1. We'll skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next and chain 1. Skip the next and repeat what we did for row 7. And again, this is for all 3 sizes. And we'll repeat this, working all the way around our hat. Now, if you do not want to change colors here, you don't have to. You can keep it your main color and do the entire hat, if you would like. I completed that row of double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 in my new color. I joined to the 3rd chain of my beginning chain 4 and chained 1. And now what we're going to do for this next row is stitch a row of single crochets, and that's why we only chained 1. So we're going to go right in that first stitch, stitch a single crochet. Then we'll go in the chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet. And we'll stitch 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets and the chain 1 spaces. For an even row of single crochets all the way around our hat. So we're single crocheting in each double crochet and single crocheting in each chain 1 space all the way around, and then we're going to join back to our first single crochet. So I stitched that solid row of single crochet around. I'm going to join to my first single crochet. And I'm going to cut my yarn because I'm going to change colors again. And again, you don't have to change colors where I do. You can change colors wherever you want to. I'm going to bring in my 3rd color. Chain 1, single crochet in the first stitch, and then I'm going to just single crochet in each of my single crochets around. One single crochet in each of those single crochets all the way around, and then join back to my first single crochet. I completed that row of single crochet. I joined and tied that off, and yes, I have a little bit of weaving in to do where I changed colors. And so on the baby hat we have 2 rows of single crochet. And so I only have 2 rows of single crochet on the toddler hat, like I did the baby hat as well. It just looks a little different because I switched colors on the second one and then went back to the second color. Now on the child size, I did 3 rows of single crochet, 1 in the color of the first color change, and then I did a white one and a teal one just to give it a little more length. And that's up to you how many rows of single crochet you want to do at the bottom of your hat before you tie it off. I like 2 rows for the baby and toddler and 3 rows of the single crochet for the child size hat. So here is our child's spring beanie. It's great for the boys and the girls, baby, toddler, and child size. And again, you can use any medium weight number 4 yarns that you have on hand. You can use cotton, you can use acrylic, or just get in your yarn stash and have some fun. Now you don't have to change the colors where I did. You can make it all one color, you can stripe every row, just have some fun with it. Now, the smallest one is our baby hat. It measures approximately 13 to 14 inches around. Then we have our toddler hat, and it measures 15 to 16 inches around. And then we have the child size hat, which measures about 17 to 18 inches around. And again, there's a little wiggle room in the inches because these hats are super stretchy. And so your child's going to get a lot of use out of these hats.